Hey guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. So I want to talk to you about something. See if y'all can see that. CTO10 1 micron carbon block water filter. So it's for a whole house. So I've for how I filter all the water on my property. So I just finished changing my water filter and I thought, well, probably wouldn't be a bad idea to show that. But basically, the well pumps it up into the pressure tank, leaves the pressure tank and comes through this 1-inch line, and it goes through my water filter, and then it tees off and runs to the chicken house down here, and then it goes down into the ground, runs up to the house. So every bit of water, except for what comes out of that faucet there, which I don't ever use, goes through that 1 micron carbon filter. And the reason, the reason I wanted to talk about it is because water is important. If something happens to the water supply, especially if you're in a municipal area, you know, towns, cities, whatever, on public water, if something happens, you've got to have good, clean water to drink. Now, if you don't, you can turn around and boil the water. That'll kill all the pathogens and all that stuff. But, you know, you need to know the details of how to do it. You got to boil it for a certain length of time. And then, of course, you've got to let it cool down so you're able to drink it, and cook with it and all that good stuff. But you know, if it's really dirty water, you're going to need to pre-filter it before you even try to boil it, such as through some type of fabric or whatever to catch the large debris, that kind of stuff. And of course, the fine sediment will settle at the bottom of the water if you let it set while it's cooling. So I'm going to show y'all this. You might have missed it. He sticks his nose in there, gets him a mouthful, and then he's good for a while. So I was coming over to check it. Look, his feeder's full. Yep, look at that. He's got plenty of feed, and I need to, his water bucket's really low, and I need to wash it out with bleach, kill the algae that grows in it. Helps prevent the mosquitoes and all that stuff too. So I'll get that done in a few minutes. But anyway, water is extremely important, and that goes for your pets and your livestock, as well as for yourself and your family and your garden. You don't want to put contaminated, and I mean with chemicals, contaminated water with chemicals. You don't want to feed your livestock if you're going to eat that livestock or eat off the livestock like I do here. I eat the chickens and the eggs and turkeys, of course. And you don't want to feed dangerous water to your plants either. You know, you could get some of that chemical in that stuff and then you eat it and it's bad. So I wanted to show y'all, even if your own city water, you can still put a filter system on the water supply to your house and filter that city water. Now, a carbon filter, to me, unless you go with something like a Berkey or, you know, those high-end water, reverse osmosis water filters and stuff, a carbon filter is going to stop. Well, I'll show you on the package. If I can. It says Centering technology is used for producing the carbon block filtrate inside. Chlorine reduction rate of greater than 99%. So, you know, it's going to remove a lot of the contaminants in your water. Now, chlorine is something a lot of city town water supplies use for killing the bacteria in their water. There's going to be bacteria in everybody's water lines, especially if you're on city water and such. And I know if you've ever had the fire department come through and flush the water lines, they tell you not to drink that water for so many hours, to run your faucet until the water clears back up and all that good stuff. Well, if you've got a good water filter system, you don't have to worry about that near as much. Now, no filter is going to be 100% perfect. But if you can filter your water with a carbon filter down to 1 micron, and it actually work, and it'll stop a lot of the germs and viruses. It's not going to stop them all. Now, reverse osmosis is supposedly the best out there, but that's extremely expensive. That's your option. But I just, you cannot survive without good, clean drinking water. And if you have to spend, hours a day boiling water, letting it cool so you and your family can have something to drink, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, says you need a gallon of water per person per day. I'm going to tell you, a gallon of water per person per day is not enough. Not for eating and drinking. That's just not enough. Most experts say 3 gallons of water per day. Now, can you get by with 1 for a little while? Yeah, but you're eventually going to get dehydrated with that. You're better off with at least 2, if not 3 gallons of water per person per day. And that needs to be potable water, drinkable water. And I still ain't got them pear trees out, y'all. But either way, I like my whole house water filter system. I had it on my last house, and I had it on the house that my daughter lives in now that I built 35 years ago. A lot of people buy the filters that aren't carbon, but y'all, that's just stopping sediment and stuff. That's not killing anything. Carbon will get rid of a lot more of the contaminants in your water than just a plain old, what I call the rope filter. You go in there and buy one that looks like rope wrapped around the filter. That's just getting sediment out. That's not stopping anything that could hurt you. Clean dirt's not going to hurt somebody. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of do a quick video about clean water. You can buy these whole house water filter systems from your local Lowe's, Home Depot. Some Walmarts might even carry them. But, you can get the under the sink model, or you can get one for the whole house like I've got. But you've got to make water a priority on your prepping list. If you do not have a stable, good water supply, there's no need in anything else. Nothing. You can go 3 weeks without food. Now, is it going to be pleasant? No. But you can't go but about 3 days without water. So that needs to be, in my opinion, your number one thing. Now, if you live in a big city or something and there's possible riots and all that kind of stuff, and you got to deal with tear gas and that kind of mess going on, well, you're going to need gas masks and places to go to. But you're also going to need clean drinking water. So if you haven't thought about it and haven't really put any effort into getting your water supply stable to where you've got plenty of good, clean drinking water for you and your family, guys, it doesn't cost much. These filters aren't that expensive. I buy them in the 4-pack usually. And one filter with me, I get a lot of sand in my well water. And y'all know it's just me here, and then the grandboys come and family comes and all that stuff. And my son stayed with me for a couple of months last year. I mean, basically it's just me. But one filter will last me a month and a half on the good end. And if all of a sudden it starts pumping a lot more sand, then it won't last me but 3 or 4 weeks max. So you've got to have spares, and that's why I buy them by 4. And I told y'all I changed my water filter today, and I've just got my delivery in of another 4-pack. Now, would that last me a full year? No. My goal is to have several dozen of these filters stockpiled, so I'm guilty of not being fully prepared for it as well. But my focus, since I'm on a well and not on a municipal water system, my water's good for now. So even if my filters, you know, doesn't stop everything, I use it basically for the sand, to get the sand out. So that doesn't mean I can't get drinking water out of it. Those IBC totes over there, 275 gallons each, they're both full of clean drinking water that ran through my 1 micron filter, and I added just a little bit of chlorine in there to stop it from molding and germs and all that stuff from building up and viruses. There's just enough in there to keep it clean. I could go over there and get a cup of water out of it right now and drink it, and it would not hurt me at all. Also, I've got these 4 55-gallon barrels right here. They're full of clean, drinkable water that's been treated with a little bit of chlorine. So 275 and 275 is 550, and another 210 right here. And I've probably got another 50 to 100 gallons in jugs in the mini barn. Every time I empty a large container, I wash it out, I sterilize it, and then I fill it up with good water and store it in the barn. I don't throw containers away just because the milk's empty or the cranberry juice that I drink a lot of that, not daily, but about once a week I'll drink a glass or 2 of that to help flush through my kidneys and stuff, because I drink so much sweet tea. And you know, I save all those containers, wash them out, sterilize them, and then fill them with clean water and put them in the barn. One of my prepping ideas is, if crap hits the fan and people are in, you know, serious need of help from one another, I don't plan on bartering ammo with anybody. I'm not going to give somebody else bullets that they might could use against me and my MAG, Mutual Assistance Group. But I will give people water. And I need containers to do that in. If they bring a container, I'll fill it up. You know, if they don't, and I've got containers that I can use, like all those I've got stored in the barn and elsewhere, then I'll give them a container of water. I'm not asking anybody for anything to give them water to keep them alive. Now, food is on a different scale, because every mouthful of food I give to somebody else is a mouthful of food that's going to come out of my family's mouth, and I'm not doing that. People are capable of prepping right now just like I do. But water is key. And if I'm the only place around here, and I'm in Southwest Georgia, y'all, there's a lot of creeks and a lot of ponds and lakes. And if you pull up a map of Southwest Georgia and set your settings when you pull that map up online for water, it's going to show you creeks everywhere. You can't go a quarter mile, half mile without finding a wet weather creek or just a regular creek. But not all of them safe to drink. So you need a good filter system. Get you a filter system that works for you and your needs, and get it set up. So anyway, I don't do enough prepping videos, in my opinion. I'm probably going to redo some that I did 3 years ago when I started the channel, just because people don't watch some of the older videos, and new subscribers may not have ever seen them. So I'm planning on doing a little bit more of that. But y'all know, I'm gonna turn around. Y'all know I've got the raised bed garden set up. I showed you in the last video where I was working on the potting bench, and I actually meant to go to Lowe's today after work and buy the rest of the 2x4s I needed to finish the potting bench, and I just forgot. I'm a creature of habit. When I leave work, I start headed home. So anyway, it hasn't been but half a week. There's nothing popped up yet that I've planted, And those seeds have been in the freezer for a year, at least 6 months, probably a year, year and a half. So I may not get anything crumb up. May have to buy all fresh seeds. I don't know, but I've got a lot of seeds stored in that freezer. So, and I'm not going to water it every day. My plan is to water it every other day. Now, the first couple of days after I filled these up, that soil's good and dry. It's going to absorb a lot of that water. So I watered them the first 2 days good. And I'm going to skip a day, and then I water them again, skip a day and water it again. But I don't want to overwater and make things, you know, not work well. But anyway, I just wanted to talk to y'all about water. The water I water this raised bed garden with, the water I water my animals with, is all filtered down to 1 micron through a carbon filter. Y'all, it needs to be at the very least a carbon filter. But do what's best for you and your family. Get your water squared away, and then you can focus on other things. And I really do believe we're going to have problems to where preppers are going to be needed down the road. I'm not going to dig any deeper in that. I've said a year ago I didn't think we had 6 months. Well, I was wrong just like everybody else. But does that mean it's not going to happen? No. Odds are it's going to happen. I've had people tell me that don't even know that you know, I'm Waters Family Homestead, that I'm a prepper and I've got all this stuff. And people say don't talk about it online. Well, how else are you going to teach somebody? Most of my viewers are nowhere even remotely close to where I am. I'm not worried about that. I'm in a pretty secure location. There's only 2 ways in and out, and I've got a 1/4 mile line of sight in both directions of that. So good luck trying to take what I've got. But either way, y'all get your water prepped. Do like me, man with a black thumb. See that? Just about everything I grow, I end up dying and killing. This is a good effort. I don't know whether it's going to work for me or not, but get your water squared away and then start getting food stored and squared away, and then worry about other things such as guns and ammo, shelter, all that stuff. If it's wintertime, shelter may be your first option. But if it's summertime, like we're just now going into spring and summer here in Southwest Georgia, it's still cool at night in the upper 40s, low 50s, up to the high 70s, the low 80s right now. You're not going to get hypothermic and die if you've got any kind of shelter or clothing on whatsoever. So that's not number 1 priority. Number 1 priority, 99% of the time, is water. Get your water right, guys. And if I can help any of you with anything, send me an email, comment in the video. We'll do what we can. I appreciate y'all. Remember what I've always told you. Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I. Y'all be safe. Be prepared. I got to go clean Sparky's water. See ya. All right, guys, just a little side note. You know, having your whole house filtered is a great thing, but also you can get mini filters to put in your go bags, get home bags, bug out bags, whatever you call it, and just to have on your property so that you can drink water from questionable sources. The Sawyer Mini water filter they run about $17 to $19 on Amazon. They're great water filters. And if you listen to Survival Dispatch News like I do, they tested a lot of different brand water filters, and I'm sure they didn't test them all, but they tested a lot of different brand water filters, and the Sawyer Mini outperformed all the other brands. I mean, Sawyer Mini water filter is the best portable water filter you can get, in my opinion, and in their opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion. Buy one, use it, get some water through it, send it off and have it tested and see what's in that water. do a before and after test. It doesn't cost much to have it tested. The Sawyer Mini water filter is awesome. I keep one in my get home bag. I've got two or three or four extra in the house. They'll filter up to about 1,500 gallons. So you've got to have a backup. In prepping, there's a rule. 1 is none, 2 is 1. In other words, if you've only got one way to get water and something happens, you don't have a way. But if you've got a backup, you're still able to get water. And that's what the Sawyer Mini water filter is for me and my mag, is a way to get fresh water no matter what, drinkable water. So get you some Sawyer Mini water filters. The other brands out there that look like them, most of them are just trash. They do not filter down to the level that the Sawyer Mini does, and they charge the same thing or pretty close to it, and they just don't do the job. So Sawyer Mini is a little bitty blue like this. It comes with a straw, it comes with a bag. You can screw a 20-ounce drink bottle onto it. So I keep one in my get home bag, and I keep, like I say, I've got several in the house. But you do need to have a secondary backup for your water. Just an idea. I wanted to add that on the end of the video because I did not mention that, talking about filtering for the whole house and all. If you don't have the option to filter for the whole house, at least spend $19 and get you a Sawyer Mini. One per person would be great. That way, one in every get home bag or bug out bag or go bag that you've got, you need to have a Sawyer Mini water filter in there. And that's just plain and simple. That should be step number 1 for making sure you've got good clean water. And then if you can filter to your entire house or your apartment or whatever, do that, of course. But the Sawyer Mini would be number 1 for me. So thank y'all for watching.